Rochester, New York, the home of over 200,000 people, and I'm not getting more specific than that. This is FC3's Monkey Business. How are you guys? I'm just going to jump right in today because I really didn't have a whole lot of creative stuff. Too much planned? I didn't have too much planned today because that's usually better. It's if you're extemporaneous, it's better. Ooh. It's more organic. And people know who we are.
Word.
Do you know of anybody who's like finding us for the first time? I don't think so. I think the folks who listen to us are like, we know who these guys are now at this point.
And they know
people are
that,
finding us, though.
that Rochester's home to lots of things.
Yes, it is. I mean, come on. We've been doing the home of three cool things for like, what, 7, 6, 7, 8 months now at this point?
You are correct, Chris Frank, Tanya Metris, and Dan Carmen.
Well, thank you, Billy DeTore. Oh, man. But you're seriously,
we're off the rails today.
Well, did we start on it? That's the thing.
Probably not.
There's always one of us that has trouble connecting. This week it was me.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, but we're all here, all strong. Dan, you've got us all under control for the most part.
Yeah.
So he thinks.
I survived my appointment today.
Yes, you got the old squishy squish?
Yes. Ooh.
I'm sorry. That thing that women have to go through.
The worst part of it was holding my breath for like the 10 to 15 seconds.
Uh-huh.
While they're pressing down and squishing.
Ow.
So that was
I can't even imagine what that's like.
And it was like straight in on the left, straight in on the right, at an angle on the left, at an angle on the right. So it was like, so it was only 4 presses, but still, it was 4 too many.
Oh, just pretend you're at one of those secret parties that you like to go to.
That would be what?
What party are we referring to, Billy?
If you've ever seen Pulp Fiction, let's say the Gimp may have been at one of them.
There you go. Well, I think the Gimp was sleeping.
I have never seen Pulp Fiction.
Oh, it's my favorite movie.
Really?
I just rewatched it for like the 10th time last week.
And
I saw it 4 or 5 times at the theater.
Nice. And does it hold up?
Yes. Well, to me it does.
Because that's a topic that we're actually going to be jumping on in the long segment today is we're going to kind of mix and mash because last week we talked about, we made a reference to the James Bond movie Moonraker starring Roger Moore as James Bond and how when we all saw it when we were kids, we thought it was like so freaking cool. But now we watch it now as adults and we're like, that's really bad.
No,
So I want to talk about, some other movies. I want to talk about other movies that maybe not have held up so well over time. I also want to kind of do a little bit more of Bond movies because Bond movies are cool. So we're going to have a schmoz, but we have a general theme for the schmoz. And so Pulp Fiction is not a movie that we're going to discuss too in depth today because as far as Billy's concerned, it did hold up.
Well, for me, I mean, to be honest with you, there are parts now that can make you cringe, although it's stuff that Tarantino will use the N-word in his movies. And nowadays, that's as
that won't fly,
cringeworthy as you can get. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that does kind of get people's attention these days. I mean, this is probably another conversation entirely, but does somebody like Tarantino, does he get, maybe not a free pass, because somebody's probably going to make a comment like, do you really have to do that? But he does it in a very... he does it within the confines of something to be considered like an art piece of sorts. I mean, not that many people would call a Tarantino movie an art piece, but still.
I mean, it's always someone like Samuel L. Jackson or Ving Rhames using it. Although Tarantino himself uses it in Pulp Fiction a number of times.
Yes, and nobody calls him out on it. So, I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't, I myself, if I were in that position, would not hazard that. I would not do that. I would find a different way of expressing, something at that point. But
if you've ever seen Django Unchained, that's a movie about slavery.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
I mean, I've always wanted to, but I've never gotten around to actually sitting down and watching it.
I'm a big fan of Tarantino. So I've seen all of his movies a number of times, to be honest with you. But his use of the N-word has garnered criticism over the years. Django Unchained again, because it's slavery, but even in movies like The Hateful Eight, that it was a Western that probably overused it.
Okay.
Or if there is such a thing. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's
No, I
one
get it.
overuse.
Yeah. No, I get it. That's definitely a thing. I mean, we've seen it. There was a thought. I had a thought, and that thought wandered off.
Wait, it's over here. No.
There it is.
No, quick, get it.
Man, that's a fast thought if it made it all the way up to Twilight.
To me, it's similar but way different. And we were talking about Bond movies that don't hold up.
Right.
Bond's treatment of women can be cringeworthy, especially in the early movies.
Absolutely.
Or Roger Moore, maybe up to Pierce Brosnan, maybe the first Bond where women aren't as objectified.
I think you qualified it really well. Aren't as I mean, they still were to a particular degree. I mean, look at the Denise Richards character, for instance, was sad. It was like really that was.
But she was a nuclear scientist.
Oh yeah, I was really convinced.
Wasn't the Pierce Brosnan one with Halle Berry also?
He did 3, I believe, didn't he? He did.
Yeah.
He did GoldenEye. Oh God, I can't remember which ones he did. I know I liked them.
I did too. I just rewatched GoldenEye recently.
Tomorrow Never Dies.
Yes.
Okay. Tomorrow Never Dies. The World Is Not Enough, and GoldenEye. I think there might have been another one.
What was the one with Halle Berry?
Tomorrow Never Dies, I think.
Yeah, that was Tomorrow Never Dies because The World Is Not Enough had
That's a
Sophie
terrible
Marceau
name.
in it.
Die Another Day was the other Pierce Brosnan.
Yes,
Okay.
I think that's the Halle Berry one. Maybe.
Yes, that's Halle Berry.
Okay.
I couldn't remember.
And she was sort of an equal in terms of
Die
an
Another
action
Day.
hero.
That was the one.
Right. They did go out of their way to make sure that her character was as
he was in
capable.
4 of them.
Did he get? Yeah, I thought he'd gotten in 4.
The World Is Not Enough, Tomorrow Never Dies, Die Another Day, and GoldenEye.
Yeah, I was like I said, I was pretty sure he got into 4. But yeah, I mean, the point is valid. Where Sean Connery and Roger Moore, their bonds definitely not friendly. Yeah. I'm trying to think of a good way to describe it.
But it's also, I mean, it's hard to adjust these things for time because that's just back, Sean Connery's back in the 60s.
Yeah, different. I mean, I don't want to defend it, but I'm going to say it was a different time. It was a different way of looking at things, a different attitude.
And that's the culture of the time, whether it's right or wrong. That was the culture of the time, and we can't change it.
Right.
And
I think that's a valid point. I mean, that's. I think a lot of people are going about the business of trying to change and cancel and clear it out. Whereas that might not be the healthiest way to actually deal with it.
Right. You don't want to sweep it under the rug. I
don't want to embrace it. I don't want to have a rebirth of it, but we should at least have a healthy acknowledgement. Yes, this is how we acted. Whether it was right or wrong, this is what we did. This is who we were. Now we can assess and say, okay, was that right? No? Well, then we want to do better, but we should not erase it just because you want to be able to remind yourself this is what we used to be, and we want to be better. We want to look at it differently. We want to take that step forward. So,
and an example I always like to use, I mean, if you ever go back and watch the Little Rascal movies of the 30s, or 30s and 40s, I think 30s mostly, where, Buckwheat and Stymie and the black kids may have been a bit of a racial stereotype in the way they talk or, bug eyes or whatever, but they were black kids playing with the white kids and they made no difference, but it didn't make any difference to the kids.
Yeah. You're not the first person I've heard make that observation. And that is great because it does, it looks past things. And it was a good example of what we should have been like.
So, you still had Stymie playing with buckwheat, and
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't an issue.
Right.
So
More of that.
mhm.
We need more of that.
Mhm.
So, I mean, now here's the thing, though. Let me ask this question: could something like The Little Rascals be made today? We asked that about several other shows, but would Little Rascals be something that we could make today, and everybody be able to draw something from it?
Well, they did remake them in the 80s. I think it was
Mm-hmm.
the 80s or early 90s.
And was
Yeah,
that a
but
movie?
honestly, the 80s were still pretty much racist as all
Yeah.
hell.
But they took sort of the more negative stereotypes away from it. It was just a bunch of kids getting in trouble and
Mm-hmm.
having adventures and things, and
Or misadventures, as the case may be.
exactly going in go-kart races and all the things kids do.
Yeah, or should be doing.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So it sounds like we've got a lot of things to talk about today.
Mm-hmm.
I look forward to it. This should be fun. All right, so we're going to take a quick break. We're going to start thinking about some movies that we would like to discuss, and when we come back, oh, by the way, real quick, I listened to last week's episode, and Dan, the mixes that you put at the breaks, did you do that yourself?
I found them in various sources. Yeah.
Because those were cool, but there was an overabundance of "You shall not pass."
I did notice it in the one.
There was a very
They apparently the person who put it together most of it liked that. Like
I like that one a
Shall
lot.
not pass.
You shall not pass. I'm like, okay, that was the 5th time I heard that. I get it. I'm not passing. I get it. My teachers have told me the same thing.
But you made it through anyways.
Are we keeping a tally of how many times I use the word "like" during a podcast?
Oh, honey, I don't have enough paper for that.
Hey.
I'm always drunk at the end of the pod. I mean,
I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know what you're talking about either.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, so we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to actually have a discussion about something else.
We are?
Okay.
We're not.
Okay.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. You know how I know that? Because I said so. That's how I know that. That's the kind of power
Damn,
I
we're
wield.
back. Whether
That's
he says so or not, we are.
Yeah,
And if we weren't back, you wouldn't know it because you couldn't hear this.
that's true.
That's right.
There's a thought there to be had.
Oh,
Could have
boy.
just ended it after the first 12 minutes there. So.
Dun, dun.
There's probably a lot of people that might end us after the first 12 minutes, but
I
we
have
really
no
not.
idea.
I hope you've
No.
all stuck around.
I know.
Yes.
We're fun. We're gonna have some fun, as we always do, because we're a fun batch of people. We really should do our own morning show. I think that would be awesome. We did our own.
That requires getting up early. I don't like getting up early.
Dan and I are fine at that because we never sleep, so it all works out really well.
That's right.
When I first got let go from the radio station, I liked it, then being able to sleep in. But now my kid Dora demands on me getting up at between 5 and 5:30 every morning to get up. I guess back when I used to get up at 3:30 in the morning, I never noticed that she'd want to get up at 5. So I don't know.
I'm used to the schedule, so that's her schedule now, and they don't want to change.
Is. She stands on my head until I get up.
Excuse me. All right.
Like, get up.
You need to get up. You need to feed me and pay attention to me, for I am your cat. Anyway.
Wow.
So movies that did not quite meet the test of time. Let's start with that. I mean, we've hinted at some Bond movies, but are there any ones off the top of our heads right now? Anything that we've thought about in the past 24 hours that
I do have one that Susan and I rewatched about a year ago. We just felt, hey, that was a good movie. Let's watch it again. And it just didn't feel right. The Karate Kid.
Really?
Ralph Macchio. And I really liked it, but there was just something about it that it felt forced. And there was there's a TV show out now, and I think it's coming to Netflix. It was originally on YouTube, Cobra Kai.
Right.
It's a sequel to Karate Kid, and they may be addressing what I think might be a problem. If you really look at the movie closely, Daniel is sort of the bad guy. He's the one that picks fights. He's the one that goes off the rails at things. Johnny is the bad guy in the movie, but he's really not. He was part of his little club. He had his girlfriend. Then here comes this new kid just sort of causing trouble and being a wise ass.
That's fair. That's okay. I understand that.
You can see the argument.
And he starts, and I think Cobra Kai deals with that.
Huh. So it paints Danny as the actual villain.
And I haven't seen it yet, but I've had a bunch of people who really love it and tell me that you realize how the outcome of this movie really affected Johnny and what happened in that movie from his side of the story, and how Daniel was sort of the dick, I can't wait to see it when it comes on Netflix so I can check it out.
Absolutely.
And so when we watched Karate Kid a while back, that was the impression I got. I don't know. I just didn't enjoy it as much as I remembered it when it was first out.
I wonder if that's a thing that we've just never really realized. Like right now, there's. I'm sorry. Something just hang on. Something caught me off guard there.
Did we lose you?
Yeah, I'm here.
Karate Kid is out right now on Netflix, by the way.
Okay.
Cobra Kai or Karate Kid?
Karate Kid.
Oh, okay.
There's a sound file from Big Bang Theory where Sheldon's like, Raiders of the Lost Ark is the perfect movie, and you can't argue with that. And Amy turns around and says something to the effect of, Raiders of the Lost Ark would have ended the same if Indiana Jones had not been involved at all.
We talked about that last week, and
we did talk about that last week. Yeah,
and I've been thinking about that for a week, and I've told other people that.
And so now, do you look at the movie differently now? Does that skew the whole experience of Raiders of the Lost Ark?
No, because it's still fun. It still is what it is. I don't think so. No.
But we can use that kind of an example.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at movies differently. People talk about the Last Starfighter has been on several discussion lists lately, and when I saw it, it was a great movie, and it's a fun movie. I don't put it up there with Princess Bride in terms of its timelessness quality. There is some cheese factor to it, and I've recently gotten a chance to watch it again. And yeah, I didn't hate it. It didn't my opinion of it didn't change, but there was parts of it I'm like, yeah, can we get past this now? Can we do something different? Can we move on? Because fast forward to the end.
Sometimes stuff from the 80s and 70s just seems slower now than they did when we first saw. Slower now than when we first saw them back then.
Yeah, I think that might be
movies.
Yes.
All the CGI, all the technology. There's so much action. I mean, look at the original Star Wars. I mean, and relatively speaking, there was not a lot of stuff going on in there.
Right. But then you compare it to the final Star Wars, which was basically like there was something going on every moment of the movie. So, yeah, and that's a great point. That's a great observation to make, that that gives you an opportunity to look at it a little bit
more
differently.
Stimulation.
Well, and sometimes I don't think comedies hold up either, just because of the way senses of humor change.
Mm-hmm.
I remember liking, say, Popeye, Robin Williams' Popeye.
Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh.
And that didn't hold up when I tried to rewatch it a couple years ago.
Not even a little bit.
And I loved Popeye. I thought that was just a wonderful movie. And for some reason, I don't think it's funny anymore. And maybe even the same for like Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, which to me was an amazing comedy. It might still be, but I didn't laugh
that was
at
so
it.
Funny. I watched it recently. I thought that was
okay. Good.
So funny.
That's good to hear. Maybe I was just not in the frame of mind for it when I tried.
Because a lot of it's about I think it depends on what the comedy is about for me. I mean, if it's more about it's just more topical, then it's not going to last. If it's more of this is a situation, and it was really about the situation of John Candy, Steve Martin trying to get home, or Steve Martin trying to get home, and John Candy following around, and it was just, and maybe it's just because it's from our time more that I appreciate it still. But I guess I'd be curious if like kids today, if they watched it, if they get anything out of it.
Well, there's one way to find out. Get my kids to cue it up and see what happens.
I remember having my niece and nephew over about a year ago, because it's been about a year, I think, since we were allowed to have people over. And,
somewhere around there.
And showing them the Three Stooges, and they laughed and laughed, and it was good to know that the Three Stooges are still funny to kids.
That's great.
That's
that
awesome.
is great news.
That slapstick comedy. There's no real plot to it. It's just more of just doing silly things, and it's really just leave your brain at the door and enjoy it.
Yeah, it's like I thought The Mask was like hilarious initially, but now go back and watch it. I'm like, no,
not so much.
Not so much. I'm now like really not a big Jim Carrey fan. So
yeah, I was going to say you never really have been.
No, like I'm like, yeah, The Mask was fun and things like that the first time I watched it, but I'm like, I don't think I'd go back and watch it again. It's really not going to draw me in a second time.
Jim Carrey did like Dumb and Dumber and Ace Ventura, and I've never been a fan of those movies. Is he, or is Will Ferrell almost the modern day Jim Carrey?
Not that Jim Carrey is either.
Yeah. Jim Carrey's still around and doing things, so
I can watch some of Jim Carrey. I can watch some of Will Ferrell.
I can't. I just Will Ferrell does absolutely nothing for me but annoy me. Really, it's unfortunate, but how about? Let's talk about comedians. I mean, a lot of the screwball comedies that we grew up with: Animal House, 1941, Stripes,
Mel Brooks movies.
Brooks movies. Do those hold up? I'm going to say yes.
I'm not sure. Animal House I love, and to me, the last time I watched it, I pulled it out, and it was really good as a nostalgia piece. But maybe there were things in there that made me uncomfortable, even in like the treatment of women.
Okay.
In that movie.
Fair.
I'm not sure, but I didn't get the laughs that I remembered. But maybe just because I've seen it so many times too, and you just
know what to expect.
Laugh on repeated viewings.
Yeah. I think part of Animal House was the fact that you just didn't know what was going to happen next, and when it did, you were like, "What did I just watch?"
Yeah.
Food fight.
Yeah. Hey, what do you know? What's my impression? I'm a zit.
Get it?
What am I? Oh yeah. I mean, it's there's a lot of comedy, especially that kind of comedy. It's going to change over time. Now, like, what about a movie like Airplane or the Naked Gun movies?
I had a hard time with those movies to begin with. I mean, they were funny the first time. They were funny the first time, but I remember being like, it was that kind of movie. Like, okay, I laughed once. I don't really need to see it ever again.
See, those I think would hold up for me. Now I want to revisit them, because just strangely enough, today I was scrolling through Facebook or Twitter and came across someone who posted a scene from the Police Squad TV show, Naked Gun movies, and I laughed. I hadn't seen it, and it made me laugh out loud. The scene from the TV show is just a silly play on words, almost Abbott and Costello-esque.
And I love the Naked Gun movies. I mean, Leslie Nielsen. It's just
his dry delivery, playing it straight.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
It's very similar to how Adam West went about with Batman.
Okay. Which makes sense, yeah. Yeah, I see that.
So I do enjoy those movies, but I never enjoyed what was like Scary Movie or the Top Gun one. Shoot.
Yeah.
Hot Shots.
Hot Shots, thank you.
With Charlie Sheen.
Yeah, those I would watch. I watched once, and I have no real desire to watch them again.
Right.
They weren't. I enjoyed them, but it's not something I would. If it came on, I would. stop everything and watch it type of thing. I might watch a couple minutes to kind of maybe get a chuckle, but it's not. But again, those are more topical. Those are those are parodies based on the movies at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of have to have
we do love our parodies. There's no movie out there that doesn't get parodied somewhere along the way.
Does Spaceballs hold up?
Oh God, yes. But I think I'm biased because I love that movie so much.
Yeah.
I haven't watched that maybe since it was at the theater. I may have to go back and watch that.
I'm a Mog, half man, half dog.
I'm my own best friend.
Oh boy.
They've gone plaid. Come on, man. These are the jokes. This is good. I like these.
I mean, Mel Brooks pushes the comedy there, and probably some of those, and there's probably good portions of his stuff that obviously wouldn't make it today.
I mean, Blazing Saddles is a classic.
Oh, geez.
Well, I mean, that's the thing is Mel Brooks is unafraid too. He is very capable of putting the mirror up to society and showing it just how stupid it is through satire. He does, and that's what satire is all about. It's make a commentary on society, and then sometimes it's just stupid jokes for the fun of it. It's just make him laugh, but he's also really subtle and sly, and I think that's one of the wonderful things about Mel Brooks. We have to do a whole podcast about Mel Brooks soon, because we'll do a Mel Brooks movie festival.
Tanya, do you like Mel Brooks? Have you watched any of his movies?
Name a movie. I'll let you know.
Spaceballs.
Young Frankenstein.
I've seen Spaceballs. I've seen Young Frankenstein. I almost said Faceballs, and I'm like,
Blazing Saddles.
Silent movie.
Because it has a silly sense of humor that doesn't strike me. Like you're not a Monty Python fan.
Yeah, no, I'm not.
Yeah, but Monty Python's more theater of the absurd, and Mel Brooks is more vaudeville.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he comes from the old school of the old Jewish comedians, basically, which he'll tell you himself. He's an old Jewish comedian, right? The guys who were residents in the Catskills and played all of the tourists, and that's where he came from.
Yeah, I have the old albums with him and Carl Reiner.
Oh God,
he just passed away recently.
Right. Did you guys see that little snippet of the of Carl Reiner and Rob Reiner playing out the tail end of Princess Bride?
Yes.
And I'm telling you, I'm sorry, I'm not crying, you're crying. That was just pure awesome. Just such a wonderful thing to see.
The whole thing was good, and that was just a beautiful way to end it. I mean, it was just an amazing way to end the whole thing. It was
I mean, it's so much more poignant considering that I watched it like 3 days after Carl had passed away is when I finally see that thing pop. I didn't even know it existed, and all of a sudden there it is, and I'm like, oh my God. Timing is everything on that one.
Oh, jeez. Even he's timing to the end.
Comedic timing or poignancy timing. That's all. It's all the same. It's man. That's fun.
The old school people could do it well.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, they've had decades to practice their craft, so yeah. But that's the thing is they just didn't sit around and just say obnoxious things to be funny. They observed, they stopped, they thought, and they planned and plotted and worked on it together, and I think it's why it's a craft for them,
Right. It's not just I can tell some funny stories.
Right. Who's good at that is Gabriel Iglesias. Because he's just so genuine. He just tells you exactly what he's thinking at the moment and how he experiences things. But he does it with a great little. But you can tell he's working it all out in his head. That he's planning ahead and he's thinking it through. And he's like, this is where the punchline is going to be. So that's I love him. He's funny. And here we are talking about movies. Anyway.
Yeah. We never digress. What are you talking about?
I know we're always we're razor sharp focused.
We should change the name of the show to Digressions. FC3 Digressions.
That's our new fragrance. It's right up there with our favorite spoilers. It's the whole Mighty Monkey line. Spoilers and digressions.
Oh, brother.
Spoilers for women and digressions for men. Available now at Kmart.
Well, in today's age, you can use it for either. Anyone can use either one. So
Yes, that's true. That's true. Thank you for that. I appreciate that.
It's kind of a scent that
it's unisex scent
that comes out with like some of your pheromones and things like that. That it
yes.
It's kind of like the changing color lipsticks that based
Those
on
exist?
Yeah.
Is that really a thing?
Yep. Like
I
they
remember
go
that
on
with T-shirts in the 90s.
No, it with whatever your body chemical makeup, it will. Ulta has some that are like a deep purple when they go on, or like an orange or a black, but then after a couple minutes, it actually turns to like a mauve or a red or a rose color based on your own chemical makeup.
Huh. That's interesting.
So so you do the same thing with fragrance. That depending on
I have learned something new today.
What your chemical makeup is, depends on how the fragrance will smell on you. Because even
right now, my chemical makeup is Cadbury Caramello bars and wine.
well, even
digressions kind of has to fall apart at the end of the evening, though, because it kind of digresses.
Oh, jeez! How did I know?
Even if
How did I know that was coming?
Spoilers.
Even if you did get a perfume or a cologne, if you and Dan bought the same cologne or whatever, it would smell different on each one of you.
Shall we practice that? Shall we do an actual like Mythbusters kind of a test?
Let's try it out.
All right.
Let's do a podcast on it.
The whole idea of smelling Dan is not on my list of usual things to do.
Well, you wouldn't be smelling it. It would be us. It would be like Ann or I or whatever smelling it.
Oh, I see. Okay. Details.
Yeah, go out. Well, maybe we should wait till we can actually the social distancing has gone away, so we can like go out in the public and say, "Hey, smell me." They won't get us kicked out of anywhere.
No. People will respond to that quite well, very, very optimistically, and they'll embrace it.
We'll have to do it in a podcast when we're at like your house, where we can be within 2 feet of each other. So
I think
I
like the idea of doing it out in public and asking.
Yeah, I think of doing a video.
Hi, can I ask you to smell me, please?
It's our Impractical Jokers episode.
God.
Well, I've seen people like doing weird stuff in public for TikTok. I guess I think Chris, like, one person just like standing like a statue in the middle, like right in the bottom of an escalator, just standing like a statue.
Oh God, yeah, I saw that one.
Kind of go around it and like be able to stand like that and keep your expression. And
that was discipline right there. That woman kept a straight face through it all, and I was like, "Wow, that's impressive."
There's a couple other ones I saw people doing that. It's like, okay, that's pretty. I don't think I can keep a straight face. So we'll come up as smell me. Okay.
Okay, now back to movies, and don't ask me why my brain made this leap. I think it was Tanya talking about the lipstick that changes colors. A movie with multiple endings was Clue.
Oh wow!
Did you guys see that?
I saw it, but I never saw any of the multiple endings.
I think nowadays, if you get the DVD or whatever, it'll show you all of the endings. But back when it was out, depending on which theater you went to,
they had a different ending.
It had a different ending.
That's amazing.
Based on the board game. That.
Yeah.
And the reason I thought of that was I was recently did a deep dive into Back to the Future. I watched the movie a couple weeks ago, and I've now listened to a couple podcasts about it. I'm reading a book. And when Back to the Future was being made, turned out Christopher Lloyd didn't think it was going to be a hit. Mm-hmm. You know, he was in it. He thought it was a good movie, but he didn't think it was going to become the cultural sort of turning point it did. And he goes, I thought Clue was going to be my hit movie. Because he played Professor Plum in Clue.
Oh, right.
I thought Clue was going to be the hit.
Yeah.
So
it didn't really hit hard, did it? I mean, people liked it, but they really didn't just go nuts over it.
And I hear they're remaking it.
Are they really?
Or maybe they're talking about it, and who knows nowadays what they're going to make and what they're not going to make. And all that, but
everything's going to get remade eventually.
It's a fun movie, or maybe it's one that doesn't hold up. Like I said, I haven't seen it in a long time, so
Yeah, I saw it. I saw it once, or I saw it a couple times. These like on cable or something, but I don't remember. I don't remember the different endings, but it says there's three possible endings with different theaters receiving one of the three endings.
Tanya, are we keeping you up, dear?
No, I didn't sleep well last night because I was worried about a coworker, and so I've been sitting at my desk for a good portion of the day, other than being out and about. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm just that type of stuff.
How's she doing, by the way? Your
Good.
coworker.
She's home.
Good.
She said she was going to try to be on our instruction time tomorrow, and
Good.
I'm like, do whatever you need to do, type thing. So it's a little scary. The jury's still out, or the doctors are still trying to figure out if they were if it was a stroke or a mini stroke. They haven't ruled that out yet. But
Gotcha.
her CAT scans came back negative. Her blood work came back negative. So yeah, so we were a little stressed last night.
Yeah, I could tell.
Yeah.
That's why I ask.
So yeah, and worrying about what the fall is going to bring for us. I haven't been sleeping all that well, and then I've been having really weird dreams about that potential situation, and it's just really strange. But
Well, strange times we live in.
yeah, but I am going back in the fall full time back to the building, as I am a special education teacher. So
Mhm.
we are holding class, from what we understand, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday.
Okay.
And then we're not sure what Wednesday's going to bring, but
Nobody's ever sure what Wednesday's
but
going to bring.
we still, I mean, there's still a lot of planning that we need to do.
Oh, I imagine.
Yeah. There's still a lot of uncertainties and things like that. So we're
Well,
not.
do me a favor and keep us posted how that's going, because we want to make sure you're all right.
Yep,
Yeah.
I will.
Yeah.
I will. So yeah, I'm sorry that I was yawning.
That's okay. No, I'm just checking in on you. That's what I do. I am a responsible host. My job is to make sure my team's okay.
As I
You know
yawn.
that Carrie Fisher was originally contracted to portray Miss Scarlet in Clue,
I did not know that.
but she had to withdraw because to enter treatment for drug and alcohol addiction.
Oh well.
Well, yeah.
Who did
twice
wind
the
up
time.
playing her? I don't remember that.
Miss Scarlet was, I can see her face. Oh my God, I can see
Leslie Ann Warren.
Leslie Ann Warren.
Oh,
Yes, thank
thank you.
God. Just as I was almost there. I was almost going to say, I almost said Sigourney Weaver, but I knew I was wrong there. And then there was another actress that popped into my head before that, and then Leslie Ann Warren locked in, and I was like, okay, that's her. So anyway, neither here nor there.
Yeah. So other movies that hold up or don't hold up.
Princess Bride will always hold up. We've talked about that. It's the perfect movie.
Mm-hmm.
It just is. Fight me.
Because
Back to the Future.
It's a fantasy. It's not really, it's supposed to be kind of cheesy,
right?
So it is what it's supposed to be.
Mm-hmm. And Billy talked about Back to the Future and Raiders of the Lost Ark because they're period pieces, so that helps. Period pieces. Yeah, I have an accent.
I think
now.
anything not set in what is supposed to be present time,
Right?
it helps.
Fair.
Yeah, which is why, like Moonraker, when they tried to, predict the future, did not work.
No. No, it most certainly did not.
What other? I was thinking of another movie. I don't remember. This moment of silence is brought to you by Soft Soap.
I don't know. I mean, I asked that same question to Randy, and before he went to Wegmans and things like that. He goes, "That is a difficult question to answer about what necessarily hasn't that were like good movies initially, and then we're like, oh, what were we thinking?" type thing. Sometimes it's like any of the sequels, because sometimes the sequels aren't necessarily as good as the original.
Yeah. No, that's fair. Sequels.
See, now, one thing, special effects sometimes can affect whether a movie holds up, but even something like Superman or Star Wars, two sort of groundbreaking movies that I think do still hold up despite special effects that aren't what they are now. Because the story was good, the performances are iconic, whether it's Christopher Reeves as Superman / Clark Kent or the whole Star Wars cast.
Yeah.
The Superman flying may not hold up, but the movie does.
I don't know. I think even though the simple effect of getting Christopher Reeve off the ground and making it look like he's just lifting himself off, it was seamless, right? There wasn't a whole, it was CGI, and it wasn't some stupid sound effect trick. They lifted him up. He was in a harness or whatever, and it worked as far as I was concerned, at least.
Yeah, and I haven't watched them in a while. I guess I should watch it again and just see what.
I mean, the first two Superman movie are the Christopher Reeve Superman movies. 3 and 4 were just kind of like, why did you guys do this?
Yeah. Although when 3 was out, that's one that. Oops, Susan's looking at something. She says I'm good. Oh, Susan's looking. Susan just showed up and she's looking at the power. Yeah, I told them about my power issue. So I'm currently
Haven't powdered it yet.
Yeah. Oh, that's a movie I want to revisit. Powder.
Okay.
Did you guys see Powder when that came out?
I don't remember seeing that one. That's
I can't
where
remember
the Boys Born special.
Yeah, and has sort of like
powers or something.
Special powers, and he can affect electricity and heal things or whatever. But I maybe I've talked about this with you guys, and maybe I haven't. But there are certain light poles or that when I walk under them, they go out. The lights go out when I walk under them, or even like when bowling was allowed, there were places where the radar got to tell you how fast you threw the ball. That would stop working if I was bowling on the lane.
You have an electrical personality.
I have some sort of aura that turns things off. But Powder was a really good movie.
It explains your computer problems.
It could absolutely. So. Where was it? Oh, Superman 3. I enjoyed Superman 3 when it first came out. And I saw it at the theater a couple times. And now looking back, it is an awful movie. It probably was back then. But that was the one where Superman was affected by the red kryptonite and also he doesn't like an evil thing that I think still works. I think that part where Superman turns into a bad guy still works, because in comic books, when Superman is affected by red kryptonite, like anything can happen. Like it always has a strange effect on him. And I've seen Superman turn into a bad guy or read, that in the comic book. And I think that's a part where Christopher Reeve did a great job portraying that. Although the movie itself is terrible.
Yeah, I mean that's the movie. I mean, a lot of the movies we talk about have those magic moments, those actors that bring something to life and are really worth seeing. But does it redeem the movie in the overall?
It makes it a little
more bearable.
A little more bearable, or maybe more disappointing.
Yeah, I'd go with that.
Because there was something there that got wasted.
Yes. Ooh, there's a great topic. That is a great topic. Things that got wasted. How about, like, for instance, Fantastic Four, the most recent one?
Oh, geez.
And I didn't see that until it came out on video. I borrowed it from the library, so it was free. And I'd heard nothing but terrible, terrible things about it. So my expectations were super low going into it. And the first third to a half is all right.
Yeah.
When Reed and Ben are becoming friends and, before and once they get their powers or, wind up going in outer space or whatever, it really went downhill fast. But the first bit is okay.
The best description I've ever heard for that movie, and I know I've said this before on our podcast, is it was a 100-minute trailer for the movie we wanted to see.
As was the second one. The second one with Jessica Alba and Chris Evans.
Oh, you're talking about that one?
No, I was talking about I was initially talking about the same one as you.
Okay.
But
and then you switch. Okay, then you switch.
Now I'm switching to the other one, which is disappointing because it's not bad. The Silver Surfer in it is amazing.
I thought it was really
I won't
well
even go to my hat. Galactus isn't a cloud because he's not.
You could.
The movie was all right. I rewatched it a couple years ago, and I enjoyed it more on video than I did in the theater when I first saw it. It still pissed me off that Galactus was a cloud, yes, because he's my all-time favorite supervillain. But
consistency is key. I'm telling you, Billy. You stick to the message, and we'll follow you there every time.
Galactus is not a cloud.
Galactus isn't a cloud.
I said he's not.
I know.
She's agreeing.
Thank you.
And he's agreeing. We're all very agreeable today.
Can you write this day down? Because usually we're not all agreeable.
Oh, come on. We get along more often than not.
I didn't say we didn't get along. I just said we're not necessarily agreeable.
Oh, I see. That's fair.
Okay, I just pulled up a website, 14 90s movies that don't really hold up.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't seen Dances with Wolves.
I have, but you know what? I don't think I would go back and watch it again.
I don't think I would either.
Because it's more of like a history type movie. Or history.
Are you that anti-history, Tanya? Are you really that anti-history?
Yeah. So to go anti-history for me, my junior year in high school, I was in an AP class. The teacher made us memorize dates and events from every presidential term. And then over a week. And then on Fridays, he would give us a quiz on either he'd give us the date and we'd have to give them the event, or he'd give us the event, we'd have to give him the date. And there was at least 20 to 25 dates and events for every term, for every presidential term. So that was one thing, and we really had a really hard time memorizing that. In May, we took the AP exam. Then between May and the Regents in June, we watched The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly in class. And didn't prepare for the Regents at all. Because he felt that since we took the AP exam that we didn't have to prepare for the Regents. I got a 63 on the Regents and had to go to summer school.
Oh, no.
Wow.
Then in summer school, I had an 80 something in the class. I went to summer school, had like a 90 or whatever average in the class over the summer, took the exam again, scored a 63.
So you have a bone to pick with history.
So now I'm a senior and I have to pass the U.S. history exam in order to graduate.
Well, you did, so I'm assuming that all went well.
I got a 66.
Congratulations.
Just like
consistency is the key.
It is. Consistency is the key because I can never remember U.S. history stuff. Probably because from that 1 year teacher. And I mean, I liked the teacher. I just didn't like how I had to memorize stuff and things like that. So when my students are like, "Oh my God, you guys don't understand about exams and blah 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 blah," I said, "Let me tell you a story." And they're like,
"Story time with Miss
They're like, "Oh." I said, "So in regards to anxiety and trying to remember things and things like that," I'm like, "Yes, I get it. I totally understand about having to go to summer school. I totally understand." They're like, "But you're a teacher." I'm like, "You don't think that I struggled in certain spots either?" They're like, "Oh." So, but that's my digression. So I think with me, I like global history. I have a tendency to remember some of that stuff better than U.S. history, but U.S. history is my downfall. And of course, my kid's taking U.S. history course 1865 to the present in the fall. So,
well, if he needs help, he should call me.
Oh, he's got a lot of people he can call. Aunt Kelly.
That's my jam.
Oh, the U.S. history teacher from work. Yeah,
Mhm.
I can't handle it. I'm sorry for all those U.S. history buffs out there. I totally support you, but that's why I stopped my pre-law and political science degree. Is because I found out how many U.S. history classes I would have to take, and there was going to be a lot of them
Oh, poor Tanya.
of constitutional law and this, that, the other thing. And, but I totally digress.
Yes, you did. But that's okay. That's part of the part and parcel of how things work around here.
So that's what talk about me in history movies.
Yeah.
But
Where were we?
I liked Captain America. That's history in it.
That's got history in it.
Kind of.
History. Oh no! Oh
I
no!
went right into the Lost Ark. That was not.
It's got history in it.
Yeah, kind of.
Back to Tarantino movies. There's a couple that would confuse you because he literally changes history
Mm-hmm.
in them.
Like
Inglourious Bastards, yeah.
Yeah.
And Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Right.
I haven't seen that one. I think I've seen Inglourious Bastards.
Where it's like, wait a minute, did that just happen? Wait, what? Huh? Wait, what?
Okay, now I'm going to go to our other sent spoilers. Hitler dies in it.
Yeah.
Which,
Viciously.
Which, when you first see it, it's cool, but wait, that didn't really happen. Then wait, it's a movie. Hitler can die in the movie.
It's a Tarantino movie,
Uh-huh.
which makes it even that much more interesting.
Which the fact he did it once almost not ruined Once Upon a Time in Hollywood for me, but I saw it coming.
Mm-hmm.
Because he'd already pulled that trick once.
I gotcha. Well, I haven't seen the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood movie yet.
Okay. Yeah,
So.
I do recommend it.
Okay.
But then again, I recommend all Tarantino movies. Who am I kidding?
I have seen Kill Bill and Kill Bill Volume 2.
Oh, I love those.
They were great movies.
Yeah.
Which is very surprising for me.
So they were so wonderfully odd.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, you just want to go, really? What? Really? It's like, wait, what? Oh, hello, Juno. Yes.
Hi, Juno.
Yes, hi. She's. Oh,
Popper.
how did you get so wet?
Is it raining out? Or did she stick her head in her water bowl? She kind of did that at Ham's the other night.
Her whole body is wet. What the heck is going on here? Hey, let's go take a break. Because I have a bad feeling about this right now. We'll be right back after Chris checks out in a panic what his dog got into. Right, really, I'm going to be right back.
Let's talk about him when he's gone.
Yay. Okay.
Are we on a break or are we still talking?
What do we want to be?
I think maybe it was a good time for a break.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Yep, she made a mess, but that's what they do because they're puppies, and that's they love that sort of thing. So, thank you for your patience while I got that all sorted out. Holy
and she
crap.
probably didn't even realize how wet she was.
No, because she just has fun. She's a little baby, and babies have fun.
You dumped her water dish. I think yesterday or 2 days ago when I got up, the boy cats downstairs had dumped their dry food bowl.
Uh-huh.
So that was all. I spent a few minutes sweeping up their food.
Jesus.
I have an automatic feeder for my cats, and every so often it's on a timer. Every so often the timer doesn't turn off, and the whole 5-pound thing empties.
Oh wow!
every once in a while it happens for some reason. So
it's like a slot machine hitting the jackpot.
Yeah. One of the first times I just remember going down to one time, the cats were just all all three of them just staring at it like, what happened?
The gods have blessed us.
Yeah, but
okay. Oh
okay.
man, animals, we love them so, and they love us too for the most part for different reasons each. But
they keep things interesting sometimes.
They really do.
Yeah.
They really, really do.
Yes.
Anyway,
Mm.
so this is the point in the show where we usually go, "Hey, events," and we don't have anything on the books at the moment, except for the fact that, as we have talked about on a couple of occasions already, FC3, the 2020 show is now in 2021.
Yes.
And so we will be April 24th and 25th, still at the Total Sports Experience in Gates. And that's I'm looking forward to it. We still have Jason Font, right?
Yes.
Okay, and Mark McFadden.
We don't have any amended contracts yet for
Okay.
any other person.
Got it.
But I have talked to the agent, and I'm just waiting for contracts to be signed.
Okay.
Or just the dates amended, but our previous guests, yes, are available. So
very cool.
At least for that.
So most of our show is still intact. Yeah.
We got 9 months to go, so we got plenty of time to plan stuff. So
Right.
Yeah, and I'm getting ready to send another email looking for a couple other guests.
Groovy.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody in particular, like Mark Hamill?
Say it in there.
Would you stop it? You're going to give a heart attack.
Hey, I heard Chris Frank might show up to the show.
Hey, he is definitely a special guest. He's very special.
Very special guest. I hear Billy DeTore might be available for this.
I'm available. Ooh. I have comic books to look for.
Well, we're gonna make sure you have
coming this year. And that Tanya Metris, I heard, is coming too.
No, that's a figment of their imagination.
Oh.
And Dan the Man Carmen will be.
Kimberly Joe's coming.
Kimberly Joe Gray.
Hey, yeah,
she's coming.
Yep.
That'll be cool.
I'd really like to meet that James Irish guy.
Oh yeah, definitely. He's pretty cool. Actually, he writes really freaking well. I have to say.
Yeah, he does.
I mean, I do catch his blog posts, and boy, that kid's good with words.
Mm-hmm.
I say kid, like yeah, he's that much younger. That dude. So
yeah, and hopefully we'll have something in September this year. Just we gotta get that finalized. Whatever we're gonna do.
Yeah, we want to start reaching out to any of the people that have submitted panels or had submitted panels for us for the May/September show / soon to be April show. To see if any of them would be willing to do one of their panels in September. If we can,
that'd be great. Yeah,
if we can get a location of a park for like an hour type thing. So,
that's cool.
So I am going to put that on Christopher's shoulders because
you can't reach.
Because he's very tall.
He is very tall.
It's true.
However, there are some times where he is sitting, and and I'll get him then to look at our our people that had
panels.
Yeah, applied for panels. That's the word I was looking for.
It's funny because it's true.
That you're going to be sitting sometime?
It's possible.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Stranger things have been known to happen.
Uh-huh.
All right. So how about we do our usual question of the week?
Dun, dun, dun.
Okay.
Dan, how many numbers are we up to now?
381.
All right. Billy,
okay.
I believe it's your turn to pick.
I will choose 181.
Ooh. Okay. Ooh, this is interesting. What would be an accurate tagline for each month?
We really have to do 12 months? Or
well, we can all work together on them. And...
Well, my first qualifying question will be, what year are we talking about?
Let's not use 2020 because they've already done some of those.
Because for 2020, the January would be let the skullfuckery begin.
Whoa!
And anything from March or anything past April is like, well, just like any other month.
Yeah, seriously. It's like, oh no.
Armageddon day 306. Well, actually, for the longest time, it was like the 60th or 70th day of March because it
Yeah, I remember that.
was whatever. And now that it's depending on how hot it is, it's the like 9th layer of hell.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Hey, you know, it hasn't been that bad in the overall.
No, it hasn't.
All things considered.
Remember, I'm living in the basement for most of the time, so I'm a frozen little popsicle. Except for last night and this morning when I was experiencing hot flashes. They are not fun.
No, I can imagine.
Oh my god! So I should have come out of the basement. Oh,
poor Tanya.
It was not good.
So in a normal year,
what would be an accurate tagline for each month?
Okay.
Huh. January.
We can
let
together.
the chaos begin. February.
It's cold.
February. It's got to have something to do with it being shorter, doesn't it?
Less days for it to be painful. I don't know.
Yeah.
March would be usually snowpocalypse or when hell hath frozen over, or
the tease into spring.
Because
St. Patrick's Day can eat the parade will either be 80 or everyone's wearing a snowsuit,
which is fair. Mm-hmm. Yes. That's definitely valid.
Or in regards to me, it's the month where most events get canceled for Tanya's celebrations.
Oh yeah, because it's Tanya's birthday month.
Yeah, can I tell you? We've hit growing up. We've had snowstorms where we've had several feet of snow around my birthday weekend. We've had the ice storm. When I was younger, there was a fire at the farm next door, so all the fire trucks were down our side street, things like that. And it was on my birthday weekend, so family couldn't get there then. We had the power outage a couple of years ago. What was it?
We'll call it Tanya's so-called birthday month.
Yes. So yes, March is. Tyler's all like, "Oh, your birthday's coming." They're like, "We're waiting for 10 feet of snow." I'm like, "Shut up, Tyler."
Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
Not funny.
I'm like, so I always pray that it comes in like a lion, so it can go out like a lamb.
Yeah.
But if we can get past March 8th, 9th without like Snowmageddon, we're pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
So
I don't even remember how much it snowed this winter. I was so worried about everything else.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Well, it's like we didn't have to worry about snow days from March 13th on.
You didn't. But those of us who were essential employees still out in the freaking field sitting in their cars for 12 hours a day. Yeah, not so much, kid.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. I'm sorry.
Friday, March 13th, I honestly remember the last day went out and like my brother and I had our bowling league that night. He and I went out to eat afterwards at like, McGregor's or some distillery or something. And the place was empty, which was unusual. It was a Friday night because that was just when they were figuring out, and we were like, "Oh no, this is not gonna end well.
This is not gonna end well." No.
And remember, we were at the Strong Museum the weekend of March.
Yeah, it was the weekend of my birthday.
Just before this all broke, yeah, and that was.
And I remember it being cold and bitter.
I'll go with you. I'm with you. So April. Let's see, April.
Well, it's usually the tagline: "April showers bring May flowers. What do May flowers bring?"
But then it's baseball.
Thank you.
Am I the only one that knew that joke?
What?
No, I know it.
Oh, okay.
What was the punchline? I didn't hear it.
April showers bring May flowers. What do May flowers bring?
Pilgrims.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay, good.
All right. I didn't miss anything. Gotcha.
No.
So April's the start of baseball season.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, no.
It's
again,
supposed to
normally,
be. In a normal year.
This year, July may be the start and end of baseball season.
Yeah.
Oh, the Marlins have taken a hit already.
Oh yeah, they may wind up canceling their season. I think,
Yeah.
I think it's up to like
insane.
17 players now.
Wow.
Oh my God, that can't be good.
So
Yikes.
we'll see what happens.
Here's hoping for the best on that one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
God, what a weird question for me to pick. I almost
Oh,
wish I could
yeah.
take it back
You
because
know,
we
how
can
is
only do things through like the filter we have of this year. It's almost
Yeah.
impossible to think normal.
Yeah.
Can't even think straight.
So can we take a different question?
Yeah, because I mean, we've already been in for like 15 minutes, and we've only gotten to April.
And it hasn't been our strongest selections yet.
No.
Pick another number if you want.
Okay, but let's just go to the next one. I forget what number I already picked, so go to the next
Okay.
one up.
182.
182.
What word do you always misspell?
Oh God.
Ah,
God, there are a couple that I never get right, but now because I'm not, I always have to look them up. Shoot.
Hierarchy.
For me, it's
Hierarchy.
ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
I always get hierarchy wrong. I get the IE wrong. I don't know why. I know I'm going to do it wrong, but I still do it wrong. It's like I'm thinking of it as I do it. I thought this is wrong, but I still do it wrong.
Oh, can I tell you? The joke is my mom spells sauce wrong.
Sauce.
And
Really?
she thinks every single time I'm like, Mom, spell sauce. She goes SAUSE. I'm like, there is no second S in sauce. She's like, damn it, I know that. But she just gets on this one thing that I can trick her into spelling sauce wrong every single time.
Oh, so you'd been basically torturing your mother. Gotcha. Okay.
Absolutely. You know, I was going to say, I don't really struggle spelling stuff.
Actually, I know what
Unless it's historical.
I'm never sure which is dessert and which one's desert.
Desert has one S.
See, I still would have guessed wrong then. I always think because desert, there should be two S sounds in there.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair.
Okay,
You're going
so
to
I'm
a desert,
going with desert.
but you want dessert.
Dessert, yeah.
So when you go to a desert, so it's a really fast short S sound. But if you want some dessert, it's like a longer S, so that makes it having two in there.
You want to linger on dessert, and you want to get it out of the desert fast.
Right.
So,
There's another thing.
Yeah.
I mean, remember, I'm an English major in middle school when we had spelling tests and things like that. I was one of the only ones in my class to get them all right.
See,
So
I always remember how to spell the different versions of the word principal because the school principal is supposed to be your pal.
Oh, right. I remember that one. That mnemonic enhancer.
Mm-hmm.
Surprisingly misspelled as a odd word to spell.
But as a matter of principle, it's LE. But if you were going to take a loan out, it's principal with an AL.
Huh. If you say so.
I believe so. That would probably be the one I'm wrong on. Let me get my math book.
But yeah, for me, I'm going with desert and dessert.
Okay. Yeah, like I said, for me, it's ridiculous. I always go RE because ridiculous, but it's RI, and I know it every time I see it, but I still manage to screw it up.
Yeah. That's the most frustrating when you know it's wrong. You know you spelled it wrong. You know you're going to spell it wrong, but you still spell it wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
actually, if you ever want to see
it is principal for and when you have loans, it's like the AL. I had to double check.
Okay.
And do you feel better now?
I do.
Outstanding.
Because then I second guess myself, and I'm like, But the kids always ask us how to spell things, and I usually have a note paper right next to me because I have to write it out. I can't just necessarily do it right off the top of my head.
That's fair.
Because I have to visualize it.
And if you ever want to see a good movie, Spellbound. It's a documentary from like the early 2001, 2002. It's about kids going to the Scripps Spelling Bee. And it's funny, it's charming, it's exciting. It's everything you wouldn't think a movie about the spelling bee would be.
Is that recent? Because I think that sounds familiar to me.
There's a newer one on Netflix within the last year, so maybe even this year, about why kids of Indian descent are so good at the spelling bee. And I just watched that a few weeks ago. But it's not. Spellbound is so good. You will be so charmed by it if you ever get 90 minutes to watch it.
All right. I am going to make a point to that then.
Highly recommend that.
Groovacious.
And also a very funny comedy called Bad Words with Jason Bateman. That's about going to spelling bee and cheating.
Which one was that again with Jason Bateman?
It's called Bad Words.
Bad Words? Yeah. With Jason Bateman. I can't see him in that kind of a movie at all.
Yeah. And it's helping this kid cheat at the spelling bee.
Gotcha. Which is serious business, apparently. All right, friends. Is that enough for tonight?
I think so.
You think so?
Sure.
All right. Sounds good. Well, then that's good. So then I think at this point, this is where I would say, Dan, Daniel,
Chris.
Hit it. Because this has been Mighty Monkey's Monkey Business, a product of the Mighty Monkey Corporation, purveyors and producers of the Flower City Comic-Con, coming at you in April 24th and 25th of 2021 at the Total Sports Experience in Gates. Like us on Facebook, like us on Twitter, follow us on Instagram, follow us wherever we go, and we will lead you to where the entertainment is. You guys have a great week, have a safe week, and we will talk to you again next week.
Yay! Dun dun
Dun dun.